beating what they know.
That's fair. All right, well, game 1 is on the books. We're going to take a quick Macca's break before we get into pregame 2.
We don't believe in labels at Macca's, like dinner or breakfast, so we're getting rid of them. Now you can enjoy dinner or breakfast whenever you want it. McDonald's all-day menu, available 24/7.
So the boys from Melbourne in order take down the other boys from Melbourne in Mammoth in game 1, 33-33 game time, I've been told. And let's start at the beginning, I guess, because the draft seemed very strange to me, Egypt.
Yes, I feel like I'm gonna say it. Rusty just said it. Like that felt very order favored in a lot of different respects. For me, the Mammoth draft was like very old school. It's something we've seen before. We're now on a new patch. Like this is Urgot coming out. Like the Hecarim was banned away, the Kale was banned away from Tally. So Mammoth are like conscious of these things, but giving Silas away and Rise as an answer, I'm conscious to be like, oh, like it's bad. You know what I mean? Like they obviously want that pick. They take it immediately and kind of want to match it in all the lanes. I think Rise into Silas, certainly playable in the mid lane. It's a negative matchup. Like you saw Triple just trying to do his best at scaling up as much as possible. Top lane, if Topoon has to play that sort of matchup, I feel like it's almost unplayable. It is very rough for you, but in kind of every respect, Order just have an answer for what Mammoth put together.
And I want to put something to you, right? Because it looked like to me, Mammoth said, we're going to pick a 9.5 composition. We're going to ban what was strong on 9.6. We beat you last week. We have a long weekend ahead of us. We're planning on being against the Chiefs in the final. We're the super team. How much of this do you think was like, let's not show cards. Let's play an old school, scaling team fight composition into Order?
Actually, a lot. Genuinely, I feel like from this game, we saw a lot of Order's priorities. Like, they didn't hold back. Like, this is first game in the Gauntlet. They're just locking in like a blind Scion, and they're picking up the Urgot. Like, they got given the Silas. I think everybody has Silas priority, but Mammoth showed literally nothing in this game. I think this could be like if this is the Mammoth that we're going to see for the next couple of games, I flat out the Order just win the series for me off that. Like if these games just repeat, I feel like Order heavily favorited, but like I think this is like Fantix, he's very experienced. Destiny King, they're very experienced. Everyone in this Mammoth lineup has experience in these Gauntlet, in these best of fives.
Yep.
I think they were somewhat testing the waters, They give up the Silas, can they get away with it? Like, they're just playing the very standard stuff, and I think we did see very little from them, and it cost them a game.
So talk me through what happened in that game, because it looked like from my angle, obviously, I had the pink tinted glasses on for this one. I'm sitting upstairs watching it. It looked like they had bottom lane priority on the side of Order, mid lane priority on side of Order, and Spooks time and time again, just ability to be able to run into that bottom side jungle and just control the pace of the game.
Well, because that is literally it, right? It's like Urgot into Java, and like Urgot has a very good time, but Babib actually with some nice pathing early, they draw Sifwa out of lane, he gets a lead. He's up like 2-3 camps, he's like pathing around his jungle, but literally because Kennen into Scion, Kennen wins. Yes, he has priority. He's shoving in, but he doesn't do anything for a while. He just wants to get to 3 items, wants to get to team fights that we did eventually see from Topoon. He was finding the flanks that were necessary, but like Rise into Silas, he's just sitting back. Braum, good answer to Zaya Rakan, because you can play negative very well, but you're doing nothing. You're just waiting. And that is literally what you saw. Order just took everything. They walk in, blue buff, yeah, I'll have that one. Like Triple got absolutely none this game, and Order, despite their jungler literally being like not significantly, but a little bit behind.
Back,
they literally kill him at his Gromp. Babib is on his side of the map doing Gromp, has literally no priority, and Swiffer walks around, Spooks flashes over the wall, as does Jake, and he's just dead.
Yeah, and one of the more impressive games from Jake, I would say, as it progressed on that Rakan. What did you make of the support performance?
No, absolutely. Like that won them the game. I feel like in multiple respects, because I feel like when you take a look at Order, and you look at like their AD carry and Dream, I feel like he is so goddamn comfortable on Zaya. He has been, when he came into the meta, or came into the OPL, as his best champion. I still maintain, like, we haven't seen it for a little bit, but like that, for me, is still his best champion. And then you ban away like the Thresh, the Alistar. All of a sudden, like, Jake has a good game on Rakan. It's the only engaged support left. And all of a sudden, like, Dream's on Comfort in a very proactive priority matchup with the Zaya Rakan. And then in team fights, like, Mammoth actually got the team fights. Their comp is just sitting there. They're waiting for the lanes to scale up, get to the team fight phase. They found them. Literally 3 different flanks, but it just didn't matter. They couldn't blow people up. The Rakan counter engage is always there, and just didn't go their way.
Because I feel like actually Topoon and Babip had pretty reasonable games. Like, looking back on it, Topoon was able to maintain a CS lead. I would have liked to see him take a couple more turret plates. Babip was able to path around. Some of his engages were very nice. He was actually getting pretty good wards for Topoon as well at certain stages of the game. It did just seem that case, however, of Silas and Sion creating such a big zone at the back of the fight that, you know, Kai'Sa and Ryze were never really hitting the same target.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, when Jarvan flies in, when Kennen flies in, they kind of make themselves that punching bag.
Yeah, absolutely. And like they buy themselves enough time, but it really was like the game never looked out of Order's control. Mammoth will always had that clock. I'm sitting there watching.
Did you expect that? Because Order's been pretty sloppy and pretty
no,
fast lately.
Absolutely not. Like I feel like this was Rusty said it, and he was talking about Triple. He's like, he's a very reserved mid laner.
Yep.
Triple isn't Ryoma, who's just going to like dumpster you in lane and then like snowball that out, right? Like he picks the Ryze, he picks the Azir into Lissandra.
Vladimir, historically.
And he's a very good player. He's very consistent, just sits back, does his thing, and then like slowly overpowers you. But like, given that they had, I think, like no realistic avenue in the early game to play through, their comp came online, but it just didn't come online quick enough. Order just took too much in the early game. Like they got a Mountain Dragon, I think they got an Infernal Dragon after a one-team fight, and all of a sudden, like team fights get infinitely easier when you have a Sion who literally headbutted a wall in one of the fights, and it didn't matter. Jake just gets like a four-man charm knock-up on the back end of that fight, and it just straight up didn't matter. That was not like a stompy game. Order won handedly.
That was a grind, I feel.
Yes. That's the thing. It wasn't like very one-sided, but Order just maintained control the entire time.
And I think both teams wanting to do the same thing. I want to look forward now. Order has selected blue side going into game number 2, so no change inside selections there. Initial thoughts on that?
I mean, that makes sense. Like, that was just a very solid game. I feel like they did show a lot of their hand, so it makes a lot of sense. I'm looking for change for Mammoth side. Okay. I don't want to see another reactive comp. When you think about the players in this lineup, like, King has popped off in so many games. He could do that on Kai'Sa, but it's when Destiny has like an Alistar, when he has a Rakan, things like that. It's Triple, I feel like, did play like pretty comfortable that game, Babip as well, Topoon as well, but I just want to see them kind of open up and just have more proactivity early, because I genuinely didn't see a realistic way that they get to play through that early game and come out on even footing.
Were you surprised that once they took Jarvan, they didn't take Galio for Destiny? Because I felt like he was the only real go support left. And whilst we haven't seen Destiny play it all that much, Destiny Babip does seem like a reasonably good 2v2 that you would throw up against someone like Spooks and Jake and, you know, be confident that you'll win that if you're a Mammoth fan.
I mean, it's kind of a gauntlet to throw, because when you're at that stage in the draft, it's like you already see Xayah Rakan.
Yep.
Galio will have a much rougher time into the Xayah Rakan than the Braum will. And they look at it, it's like, okay, we can take a harder matchup and pick for comp, and like, then yes, we have like something to fight with in the mid game. We have another tool, but I don't think necessarily in that situation it does make sense, because I think the game will still pan out in the same sort of way.
Okay.
They found the team fights. They didn't lack like the flank from Kennen, right? Like it was just like it wasn't able to kill a Silas. Like he's not a burstable mid laner. There's a Sion in the top lane. You're not bursting him. You're literally looking for Dream, and then he has Featherstorm, he has Stopwatch, he has Flash in all these fights. If you do not kill the Xayah, then it doesn't even matter if you have a Jarvan Galio. Anyway, I don't think you're going to kill it with that too.
So then what does need to change if you're Mammoth? We've talked about a lot of what Order did right and what kind of Mammoth needed to scale up and do in the late game.
Yeah.
How do you get it quicker? You know, if you're Fantix in this situation, like what are you now tweaking in the game?
Yeah, I feel like they banned Liz, Kale, Hecarim. You're going to have to concede one of those. I feel like you give away the Silas, like that add that to the ban list, because that really was like the pin that the map hinged on.
Yep.
You can play top side if your matchup for the Ryze is good, right? And then you can play towards the Kennen side of the map. You can play like a stronger bottom side if you have a mid laner that doesn't just get shoved in by the Silas the entire time. I think he is someone that just kind of has to go. I'm not sure whether like they, because it is entirely possible that coming into this, like this Silas give was like testing the waters.
Well,
like,
it was Tally's champion, right?
Yeah.
Simon, Swiffer hadn't played it yet.
Yes. Yeah, okay, because that could be it. And now all of a sudden
and he's
they're
got
like
a 32% win rate in solo queues. Let me tell you,
Yeah.
he takes a long time to learn new champions.
And I think it is fairly likely that's what it is. And they've come into this best of 5 prepared. Like that game 1 didn't look good, but now they have information that they've given literally nothing. They have info on Order. They're like, okay, yes, they do have Silas priority. Let's remove that one. Let's give them like the list so that, yeah, maybe we do play Azir into list, but all of a sudden like the game plan completely changes around that. I think the fact that Order win on Mammoth's side of the map, like like Mammoth's side choice, they chose red, lost that game. Order just go back to like what they won with. They won blue side. Yeah, let's take blue side. That felt pretty comfortable. That's fine. So game 2 is pretty damn important for me, because Mammoth don't have the capacity to change up a lot of this style. Order can come into this game and hit Thresh Alley and go for a Rakan pick again if you want. Like, does this become a little bit of a gauntlet for Destiny? All of a sudden,
would you say that if they get rid of Thresh Alley, do Order consider banning Sylas so they can take the Rakan first? Is it that high priority?
Well, I mean, I don't think so yet, but you could very easily see this best of 5 meta unfolding like quickly. If Sylas is off the table, then it's like, what is the first pick? Maybe it is like a Galio or something, but like Rakan blind is tough.
Yep.
You just get maged. You know what I mean? Like,
Absolutely.
Yeah. So like, if Rakan into Braum does literally nothing.
Yeah, Rakan into Morgana or something
blind
like
pick
that.
Rakan, you're having a bit of a roughie. His lane has been nerfed so many times. So I think he is like Rakan is going to become very high priority over the course of this series.
Yep.
I think Galio should shoot up a little bit, but Sylas definitely should be off the table.
And I didn't get your thoughts before the game. What was your pick going into this? Was it Mammoth 3-1, 3-2?
Mammoth actually 3-1.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought coming into it, like both of these teams have had very tumultuous splits, and they both have a ton of veterans.
Yep.
I didn't expect to be coming into a best of 5 gauntlet, Mammoth versus Order, and for Dream and Jake to be like the tipping point in this matchup. You know what I mean? Like that's into Kick and Destiny. They're a formidable bottom lane.
Absolutely.
They are very good. And I didn't expect like that game to play out how it did. And yeah, like I was surprised.
Can they replicate it? Are they going up 2-0? What's your pick for this
I
game?
mean, honestly, yes. I think Order go 2-0 off this.
Ooh.
I think potentially like the Zyra Khan is a big problem. I feel like removing any iteration of that, whether it is the Zyra, whether it is the Rakan, whether you just take one of them or you ban it away, needs to be done because it's too comfortable. But given that Order just won the blue side, they can just run the same sort of strategy back, and all of the onus is on Mammoth to be able to switch things up. I feel like that definitely isn't a situation Mammoth fans want to see their team in, given what we've seen from them this split. Triple in his interview was literally like, yeah, we were just being real sad, like we're not good at bouncing back. You know, they've admitted to those things as like a super team that is striving for first place. Pressure now in the 4th, 5th matchup of the Gauntlet, like that is very tough.
Certainly is. However, the players are ready to get back onto stage, so we'll throw it back to your casters as Pyro and Rusty.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Yeah, game 2 right now. Momentum on the side of Order, and if you are Mammoth, you really want to be able to grab one back here because up against match point, that starts to look like a hill to climb.
Absolutely, but, you know, to Bryce's point, something that I am very curious to see is the next game and how it looks. Given the fact that Order have chosen blue side in this second game, I think that if Mammoth don't win this next game, that it's a 3-0. That's how I would see it, because then they haven't made the adaptations that they needed to succeed. But you have to be able to have faith in the coaching staff, being on the red side again, using those adaptations and coming into the next draft prepared and much more prepared. Because if the answer was they just didn't show their hand, show it all now. You've got no choice. You want to try and get those wins on the board.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So into game 2 we go into the McDonald's champion selection. Lucian banned on blue side once again. The Kale still banned out by Mammoth, so they clearly still do not feel comfortable enough with this champion available.
I have a feeling that these two top laners have met in solo queue and someone really copped it. That champion is not allowed. First ban this time around.
All right, so Lucian
shocked.
Thresh, I mean, Order don't change anything, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I wouldn't be too surprised to see the Alistar band come out once again.
No, Alistar is one of those staple bans away from Destiny in particular. You know, Rogue and Destiny are two of those support players that command those bans on those champions. No surprises through most of the draft phase here so far.
Same
a lot of the
bans, though,
adaptations for me should be in what is picked, not so much in what is banned.
There is the Rakan removal, though, so that is one change up here for the Mammoth side. We'll see how Order respond, but they instantly pick up the Sylas first again.
Yeah, again, Sylas left available. I wouldn't be shocked to see Mammoth continue to go with the Rise. The matchup was fairly even overall in mid lane. It wasn't something that was overburdening. However, Swiffer did have big impact around the map, and I still think that the champions that Mammoth have locked so far are good. They are strong champions. The third pick, I wouldn't be shocked to see a Braum again, but now Order have to show something different, and Mammoth still get the opportunity to adapt.
Well, let's see what they do. Last time around, it was the Zyra Khan lock-in. Will they still fill out their bottom lane, or will they do something different entirely? 10 seconds left to pick.
Urgot is still available for an earlier pick here if they would like. Of course, the Jarvan shows their hand in the primary position of jungle mainly.
They take the Braum for Jake. All right. This will be an interesting one. Let's see if they do lock in the Urgot for Spooks once more. It did seem to work out pretty well.
May just be, yeah.
There it is.
We're going to say if they go towards an AD carry, something like the Ezreal is available because Braum Ezreal is just a strong duo. There's not a lot that outright beats it. However, there are some enchanters running around on Summoner's Rift at the moment, and the opportunity still there for Mammoth. If they would like, they could pick an AD carry and ban ADs away. As they are on red side, they still get the count.
That they do. This was Order's pickup of blue, which is why we see both teams on the same side once again. I believe actually when they met throughout the regular split, it was the same setup every single time. Just trying to check back and double check it, and that is an Enchantress support. So Destiny pulls a little bit of a Jake himself.
Yeah,
picks up the Nami.
Into Jake. That is an early Nami pick. That is a third rotation on the Nami as well. Now, Enchanter supports are a pretty big deal. Relic got nerfed. Dematerializers aren't as strong. You only get 3 charges now, so less opportunities for income if you're a tank support running that build. So it does mean that Nami can whittle your health down much more successfully and really put the pressure onto you. As we're going to see AD carries banned here by Mammoth, even though they haven't picked one themselves.
Yeah, this is really throwing it out there.
Still the Aurelia probably to be seen. Aurelia, Aatrox, those 2 very good flex bans.
Yeah, okay, so there is the Aurelia. Let's see what Mammoth ban as well up against Stream. There's still a lot of King's champions available to himself. The Kaisa, the Vayne still open. And will they ban another AD carry? They go for something different.
Ezreal's a pretty strong ban if they want to get rid of a very mobile champion. Lucian taken off the board. Kalista perhaps is the pick that Mammoth are looking for with the Tristana ban. No,
they're
going to ban it.
Okay.
So another mobile champion. Like, a lot of these bans from Mammoth isn't for themselves to pick. It's to get things out of a Jarvan ultimate. You know, something that is super mobile, or like Nami hits a bubble, Kalista saves them. Things like that were possible with that pick. I thought they would pick it themselves but they're holding it.
Does that tell you that Babbitt's role is going to be a little different this time around? Because he went full tank Jarvan last time.
You can't say that until the draft is complete, right? Hey, Bryce.
Little bit of a cross room there. Yeah, so the Vayne's banned away. That does change. But
yeah,
we're about to find out what Mammoth do decide to pair with the Nami.
See, Vayne, for me, I really do like taking the Vayne off the board if you've got something like the the Urgot that can just like slowly run at you. You'll just get destroyed, right? And Space Vayne's a very clear and obvious option here for Mammoth on the opposing side. The Vayne doesn't always have the best time dealing damage with a Jarvan ult. You know, there's actually a zone creator where Vayne's very awkwardly trying to auto-attack.
Unless you're in the pit, and that's kind of not what you want as an AD carry anyways, right?
So it's about the kiting back, and if they've gone for Vayne, it means that 4th pick is still probably a Scion.
Yeah, well, Order's got 1 second left. Wait a second, that's a Lee Sin lock-in, so that Urgot's going somewhere different.
Yeah, instead not going to be the Scion. That looks like Urgot's going to be in a solo lane. You'd expect the top lane, as we await the last pick here for Order being an AD carry.
Yeah, well, definitely crit AD carries being a bigger thing here, but kind of playing around a little bit because there still could be that very strong lock-in of the Ezreal Braum, and it is. So Order round out their bottom lane in a very safe style, but a lot of carry threat. And there's some early game damage like crazy on the Order side. And there's the Zoe for triple, which, by the way, up until this series has kind of been perma-banned against him.
Yes, it has, actually, now you mention it. Last picked here, of course, they've shown their hand Order. They've shown that the Urgot has to go topside. Order have chosen blue. So this is one of the obligations that they have through draft, and Triple gets one of the scariest champions that he is available to play right now in that Zoe.
Triple has not gotten his hands on this champion in, I think, about 3-4 weeks, because there was a spot in the OPL regular split where he was playing Zoe every single game, and the dude did not die. He was picking up kill after kill after kill. We know how good and how resilient of a player he is. We talked about that last time around. But he was also just popping in and out and getting kills left, right, and center. So now he gets to go back onto the Zoe. Let's see what he can get done this time around. Tapoon will be the one piloting the Rise up top.
And you would expect that he's going to go towards the Phase Rush build, just kite around the Urgot and make his life misery up in that top lane. The choice of going towards Zoe in the middle lane, a little bit more lane priority early, is definitely an added feature where Rise does tend to run out of mana, is super reliant on either blue buffs or having the mana pool available to clear the waves. So perhaps Silas has a little bit more of a rough time in that middle lane, not by a significant amount.
Yeah, his ult's not going to be as useful against Triple either, unless he really wants to hop a short distance and hop right back.
Yeah, one less impactful ultimate. Remember, it was Kennen last game.
In fact, he's barely got any. I mean, you're looking at Jarvan and
hey, Nami's ult pops off.
Nami's ult pops off? I'd rather take the Realm Warp, to be honest.
At level 16, though, you can steal. So this is the thing, like, Silas at level 16 can use all of their ultimates. Not for the biggest reasons. Jarvan's obviously the one that he wants when a team fight starts, but if you just steal an army ult while they're sieging and the wave crashes, just ult them off the wave. buy some time. Like, that's useful. And your ult's up in 8 seconds.
Oh, we've seen some great team fights already. And in we go to Game 2 of the McDonald's Gauntlet Series. Order up 1-0. And it is currently the same side selection as Order had chosen the blue side. But this time around, a little bit of line of scrimmage either way. Definitely want to keep an eye on Spooks this game.
Absolutely.
Lee Sin, see what he does up against Babbitt.
Spooks is one of those Lee Sins that I always find to be rather clean mechanically on the champion. It's just that he doesn't want to get too swept away in what I believe everyone in Oceania would call doing the Celeberry. Just Celeberry is a very good Lee Sin player. He likes to make the big kick plays.
Yeah, Lee Syndrome elsewhere for those non-Oceanic players.
So hopefully Spooks doesn't get too swept up in the moment trying to make the outplays. Of course, Lee Sin should actually just be considered in League of Legends one of the best champions overall if you are the best at Lee Sin.
It's such a high skill cap, right? And it's a classic iteration. Lee Sin's been around forever in the game, and he's always kind of a way to test your jungler's mettle.
Oh, Mammoth.
Hey, look at this.
So I have a feeling that Order suspects something, but not enough. They want to start in lane, perhaps.
Boy.
Destiny doesn't want to get hit by this Q, but he wants to poke them, maybe force the Guardian off.
That was actually a pretty good start. You know, they played towards the wall and really took minimal amounts of punishment. It's obviously a very safe lane.
Well, minimal amounts of punishment is still the maximum damage pyro that Anami can do at level 1.
That's true.
Though it was just Anami that did the damage. Spooks.
Level 2 gank.
He's in the area.
Yeah, they see him with the ward, though. This is good. Let's see if they can get the pick off, force the flash, respecting it immediately as King. And I think if you're Spooks, you got to be pretty happy with that.
I'm a really big fan of that flash from King. However, choosing to use it earlier, not later, is a big deal. He wants to still be relevant in this lane, wants to still be able to poke down. And even though Nami has sustain, he chooses not to take the damage.
Oh, but Babbitt chooses to take the fight onto Spooks. Didn't expect that one as he was on the Scuttle Crab. Now Swiffer and Triple going to be joining.
As well.
Swiffer's gone to sleep, forced to go for that quick play. And first blood down bot. What the heck is happening?
And he's got 2 slice sacks to gold after the kill.
Oh, boy. Dream's having a field day.
Dream. I want to see how much money he makes. That's ridiculous. Order's bottom lane right now. They pick up King, who doesn't have the flash available. And that's just the simple play from them. No doubt hitting level 2 and basic bot lane in League of Legends, just get the kills from it.
Yeah, it's true. But I mean, okay, so here's the play again. King just getting caught on the wrong side.
Yeah, I believe he was just jumped up forwards from Jake on Braum. Braum hitting level 2 is one of the most... Hang on.
He's going to get again. Destiny's going very low. That's a flash burnt, as well as the ignite that had already gone down. And Order's bottom lane, in now 2 games, is outclassing that of Mammoth, and that is a surprise.
And just as you want to say, Mammoth, through mid and jungle, are doing a lot of good things. You know, they get the trades on Scuttle, they control the mid-jungle area of the map. How quickly that starts to shift when kills just come across, when summoner spells are just being forced in the bottom lane. You know, Babib's still in the area, still going to be level 3 before that of Spooks, and has a decent amount of control on the Rift, but, I mean, he's not influencing the lane yet.
No, he's not. However, Babbitt did manage to force Spooks off on the vision play, which means that it'll be a little bit easier if he wants to go through the jungle. Early on, Scuttle control, very important. But Order have to be so happy with how this bottom lane has gone. And, you know, keep in mind, this is from Dream and Jake, a combination that is new to the team. Dream has not played in the Gauntlet before. He is, in pretty much every sense of the word, except the technical one, a rookie.
New Shave, new Jake as well, being able to do quite nicely down that bottom lane. Of course, we change away from him the second I mentioned it. Sporting his mustache, though. Stream's going to get a big recall off here. You would imagine the difference in items will be significant through that first purchase. But you mentioned the bottom lane, absolutely true. And I've been saying this all split, Pyro, but the secret to beating Order seems to be through the performance of their bottom lane. If you can keep those 2 down, that does seem to be a big part of the way into beating this squad. But right now, if they're able to just successfully get summoners at level 1, kills at level 2, and it's as simple as Spooks just existing in the area, that's massive for them.
Yeah, and this was the part of Order that I think had the most question marks even in the beginning of the split, right? Because they were the new members coming in to replace, I believe it was FBI and Rogue. And that's always going to be a huge loss.
Oh, yeah, the most.
Like, that is 2 of the best bottom laners in the OPL. And Dream and Jake are doing more than enough to keep King and Destiny on the back foot, and that's just so impressive.
I mean, considering FBI and Rogue are in the first place team of the OPL, it's absolutely big shoes to fill in that regard. But so far, so good in Gauntlet, like you highlight. Yeah. Really, you can't help but be impressed by them.
Yeah. If we take a look at the gold as well, because Dream is just absolutely dominating King in terms of farm, but the slice stacks of gold to top it off. And you're looking at about 1,000 gold in the lead that Order have, and it's all in the pocket of Dream. And now Jake stepping forward, tags King with Winter's Bite proc. There comes the bubble, but Spooks is going to tag his way in, and King has got no summoners, but he gets out in time just barely.
Swiffer's now hovering in the area, but Order, while they are going for this big play, they have been sniffed out by their opponents who back away. Mammoth respect. They know that Babip is on the opposite side of the map, but as turret plates, the gold difference is effectively a tier worth of gold.
Ooh, there's a teleport on the ward, though.
That's Topoon.
He burns it to try and get a playback, and now Spooks and Dream are going to wait in the wings to try and turn on him. This bottom lane is not done just yet as Spooks goes forward. The double bubble is all that stops Order from picking up another kill.
Yeah, and for those who don't actually know the interactions between Braum and Nami, Nami is very good into Braum because the door intercepts the bubble and just smacks everyone next to you instantly. So you just throw it at his head, it'll connect. And of course, waiting in the bottom lane there, Order, they've been made out.
I don't think they mind, though. I mean, this is looking so good for the Order bottom lane, and this is starting to look a lot like the last game, the flash forward. And that's going to be another bubble to stop it up. Destiny is having some clutch moments, though.
They're trying real hard down here, Pyro, to force even more kills, snowball the game out of control through the bot 2v2. When you've got a Sheen purchase on that Ezreal compared to a longsword, you're feeling rather confident, honestly, and rightly so, as mid lane's still going to be something pretty comfortable for Triple.
Yeah, we haven't talked much about the other lanes because, frankly, it's
no reason,
been all the action in the bottom side. Yeah, it's level 6, Triple and Swiffer, but you know, that's going to be a quiet one for now. It's still all about that bottom lane and the fact that Spooks has pretty much been living in it. He does take a little bit of time to go and pick up his red buff, but
of course,
Babip has been power farming the whole time.
Babip will be 6, if not after this red, then after the Wolves. So we'll have an experienced lead. Spooks just ticks over to 5. There is a significant difference between these junglers. That's more than made up for when the bottom lane of Order is in the fight, but that's always going to be the concern here. What happens if Babip just hits 6 and walks top lane, they try and burst someone out? He's got the physical damage, so you never know that's possible. What if he comes mid and Triple's already whittled down the health bar of Swiffer?
As Triple is wont to do. He's got a level advantage himself right now, as well as the CS. Tally on his side has picked up an advantage over Topoon. Of course, Topoon did lose time by teleporting into the bot side, perhaps a little unadvisedly. And now Spooks is also there, waiting for a lane gank.
Babip's getting 6 on the bot side of the map. They don't know that Order, you would have to imagine, but Topoon very respectful, of course, knowing that information. That he's on the weak side of the map, will back away. Tally still hasn't cleared the river wards, however, as he's brute forcing his way through the lane.
He backs away.
That's a good ward from Topoon, actually, knowing something is up. Something's wrong. He doesn't want to get lane ganked by a Lee Sin. That is the bush that Balkan uses from the Bombers jungler.
Balkan bush. I love it. Now look at Babip, level 6, waiting in the wings. Swiffer playing towards the strong side. He has some vision on the bottom side of that. Triple trying to bait him out. Not going to happen just yet.
Wards, though, through mid and through the river in general. Most of the focus is mid lane. Bot is on an island.
Well, Bot's island is shrinking a little bit, too, because this is starting to look a lot like last game's bottom lane, where Dream and Jake were pretty much just pecking away at turret plates. Swiffer does go on a roam to try and pick up a couple of wards, and he finds 2.
Yeah, 2 different control wards spotted. Of course, Mammoth will do the same, but they can't safely clear that one. All that vision now cleared, however, by Order on the bot side.
Look at that. Spooks, like clockwork, goes into the brush.
Has been seen clearing the ward, but is 6 right now as well on that Lee Sin. And Mammoth, you can see how respectfully they've been playing unless their jungler is in the area.
Babip gets a chance to clear that ward out. However, they try to catch on top of him, and a little bit extra damage. He's going to be forced to blast cone away. Meanwhile, Swiffer and Triple tango up in the mid, but no damage dealt.
No, not at all. Of course, it's a big game of chicken, honestly, in this mid lane. You want to throw the bubble, but he's got the cleanse for it. Aftershock was on, so maybe they can trade, but you got to choose to be cautious, choose to back away.
Yeah, meanwhile, Tally on Topoon. Topoon a little low on the mana game right now. However, he's still able to dish the damage onto Tally.
Overall, this early game trouble through bot lane has been weathered exceptionally well by Mammoth.
They've got a lot of momentum.
Pretty close to even CS once this wave crashes, you would expect. A lot of the difference in gold's just going to be from the Klepto procs that have been constantly coming out.
Yeah, and that is the big difference, right, as the True Shot Barrage comes through to clip the wave, is that last time Order really snowballed onto the bottom lane. They went for a couple of dives, a couple of big plays, but Spook, since his last foray down there, has kind of all but disappeared, meaning this has been a straight-up 2v2, and Mammoth's bot lane have been able to reset.
It's very clear to me how Order want to try and win this series at the moment. That is through bottom lane pressure, bringing their mid laner, bringing their jungler down. Hell, they could even bring their top laner if he has teleport up, which isn't all that far away. But keeping King and Destiny on the back foot, preventing them from playing their signature style. You know, Destiny's not playing engaged champions anymore, so he's already a little bit out of his comfort zone in that regard. This tends to start to throw some disarray, perhaps, into Mammoth. Or at least so far, it seems that way.
Yeah, they're definitely a little out of the comfort zone here. Of course, it is a new patch, right? And you're obviously practicing on it coming into the day and, you know, prepared to make those plays here as Triple goes in.
Oh.
Unfortunately, a little bit out of range of Swiffer to try and get him under the tower with the Paddle Star. Swiffer's done a great job of weathering Triple Zoe, but it is early days. Still sitting on a couple of pieces. Sleepy Trouble Bubble not going to connect here. Paddle Star neither.
It's the one item, Zoe, that goes into
Oh,
two
no.
items. Oh, you did it.
Oh, Swiffer. Oh, man, he has to cleanse away. That is feels bad, man, as he puts the dunk on, flashing away, and he gets taken down. Spending the teleport as well to try and come in and answer his dream. Maybe they can get one back here. Babbitt flag drags away, but Triple still dishing some damage on the backside. And man, Swiffer's got to be kicking himself that he walked back into that bubble.
Yeah, that's really tragic for Swiffer. And Dream teleports in. Jake walks up, so bot lane's probably going to lose a plate as well. And everyone from Order just congregates into the mid lane area. And the play was never there because Swiffer very tragically finds himself ill-fated. Now the teleport's bottom from Order.
Looking for the play, looking for King as he tags, but he still gets caught again, and there's the double bubble, but do they have the damage? The wave coming through, King trying to walk it out, but he will not get away with 4 members of Order sitting on top of him.
And that was so sick from Jake. He just predicts the Kaiser ultimate with his own, locks him up. CC goes on, and clean kills from Order this time. Teleport wards in the perfect position. Turret going down again.
And all the plates picked up here by Order on the bottom. And now you can see they even contribute to stopping Tapoon top side because the True Shot Barrage comes across the map to clear away from the minions. And first brick once more falls to Order on this bottom side tier 1.
The trade's still available, however, from Mammoth. They'll be looking towards some plates in topside, which they get, and the Rift Herald, which should be taken down. I don't think Swiffer can... Actually, he can. Rise... No, he shouldn't be able to contest this at all.
Yeah, Swiffer has
Get
no
out.
summoners. He is not going to be a happy boy if he sticks around. So he does keep it in sight, but this one is going down the way of Mammoth. They got the same last time, and they spent it up top almost immediately. So let's see how the play goes from here. Swiffer going to go back to wave clear duty.
Just has to deal with the Zoe in mid lane, and she hasn't even spiked, hasn't even reached that maximum power just yet. Dream is a big boy, however. He's going to be a big deal through all of these mid-game fights. And remember that Ezreal's item spikes, in terms of gold, significantly cheaper than most other AD carries around the world. However, one of the few champions that can keep up with that is the Stormrazor Kai'Sa build, if you consider double evolve a spike. And King
I think
on
that's
that
fair.
champion.
Well, and is one of King's most comfortable and most played champions throughout the course of the OPL split 1 here. Now, let's see how well he can match up. Of course, Dream gets that item spike even faster, courtesy of the fact that he has that Kleptomancy Ezreal so famously using. Turret plates this time going the way of Mammoth, though. Meanwhile, though, Order are going to answer back on top. They're getting as many as possible with 30 seconds still remaining on it.
Herald
And
actually
it's Herald
down
bot.
here as well. Babib has been seen, of course, with the control ward that he just clears. So on vision, they're going to make the play towards bot lane, forcing the trade. If you were Mammoth, I feel like you keep the Jarvan and the Nami down here. You go for a second turret because you will be able to win this race.
Well,
Force Order to come to
they
you.
get one, waiting for that second charge. Race already won, as you said. However, it will be a 1-for-1 trade at least. And, ooh, this is dangerous if you're Tally. He's got to contend with 3 members of Mammoth and a Rift Herald.
Yeah, and Topin has teleport, so really it's 4.
Oh, he might know the game is up right here. He's trying to crab walk away, but Babbitt steps on top of him, flag drags, predicts, and they bring King in to get that kill, securing it up, and that is everything from Mammoth. They do a great job of answering on this bottom side.
And that makes a lot of sense from Mammoth. They make the best possible play utilizing the Herald they have. Spooks was walking towards mid lane, path towards top, and now he finds himself on the bottom side of the map, unable to help bottom lane as well. So overall, very good stuff here from Mammoth, but a little bit slow, you would have to say, as well on the punch there from Order. And whether it was contesting or whether it was leaving the turret, they had to choose one.
And unfortunately for them, it meant that Mammoth is able to sneak the gold lead back in their favor. It's now 2-2 in towers, with both the bottom ones falling to Mammoth. And, you know, there's really no other objectives taken on the map right now. You can see the first dragon has been aggroed, but Spooks does it in full view of Babib. And now Order are going to focus more on knocking that mid lane tower down.
Yeah, Spooks aggroed it actually to see if they were hitting it. Maybe they could take the fight there or push for mid lane turret. But Mammoth reset for their better tempo. They've got some big item spikes now finally coming across as well. And this is that point in the game where Triple can be an unstoppable force if Mammoth group around mid lane or around objectives to allow that poke. Because one bubble does mean a lot of difference.
And I don't see any immovable objects on the side of Order. Maybe if Jake can get himself up into a position where he can try to intercept all the damage, that starts to change the picture. But for right now, Mammoth coming into this mid game in much better form than they were in game number 1. 15 minutes on the clock have elapsed. Mammoth also going to pick up Cloud Dragon too. Good positioning for them.
Just feeling strong, I have to say. They across the board, they feel good right now, even considering what happened bot lane. You know, like the amount of times we've seen Order down there. They're on a ward.
Ooh, hello. Jake tries to pop up, but Triple is just too fast. He runs out of there.
Had the Spell Thief's Ghost for reference, so being able to activate your W, giving move speed, and one of them being a ghost, pretty hard to catch.
It's just such a strong ability, the fact that you can pick up these really crazy spells just randomly on the map. I mean, it's one of those things that makes Zoe such a strong champion.
The word you're looking for is obnoxious.
Oh, well, that is another word. I think it's obnoxious for the other team.
Yeah, but you still feel dirty if you pick up a redemption.
I mean, lucky, maybe. I don't know if I'd feel dirty.
For picking up a redemption, getting instant lane priority and a wave cleared to leave. And it heals your minions while damaging theirs.
It's not my fault RNG's on my side. And Tally, not a lot's on his side right now as he gets locked up into the pit. Knocked up by the wave, King tags in, and it is Operation Feed the Kai'Sa.
Unfortunately for Tally, he can't dash through the wall of the Jarvan ultimate as they lock him down. Now Triple is the one that Order may be hunting towards, but he's got that best Spell Thief spell in the game, so even if they pressure him, he'll just clear the wave. And Bubip's nearby just in case to clear vision. So once again, Mammoth, they've really bounced back in a macro sense, playing the map a little bit better and picking up on...
Oh my God. Oh! Jake
That
puts
hurts.
up his shield wall, and Triple just says, I'm not aiming for you.
You could never speak when a Zoe is on the map. That was the real igniter you used.
Yeah, especially not Triple Zoe.
Basically a one hit.
Yeah, that's dirty. Yeah, that is where you feel dirty, where you're like, oh, 99% of your health bar. Dream does live, though, critically for him. Doesn't have a bounty either, though, so it wouldn't have been as bad.
Yeah, but
Triple
forcing
has
him
got
back.
free mid lane.
Note that this has been a 1v2 basically in mid lane. The fact that Zoe has the ability to do that and that King has teleport, so they are kind of putting the Jarvan and the Nami together as a duo and side laning where the Kai'Sa is, but then helping mid lane every time. It's just so strong. Oh, cancel.
He actually interrupts the Flag Dragon. Maybe they can get the catch on as he puts him inside of his own Thunderdome. Jake tags his way in and manages to set up for a kill onto Swiffer. Mammoth now on the run, but they might have enough to turn back around here as Jake finds himself low on the health bar. Tapoon coming back through. The kickback! And Spooks helps pick up a kill for a Swiffer. Order with the death ball.
And Tapoon is hunting, but he's not going to be able to find it. Spooks hit the Q, and he follows it through with a clean kickback into his team, his Dream.
And Tapoon, he's just stepping 1, 2, 3 left, right, but he keeps taking way too much damage, and Jake is putting in double time to tag in and out. What a great set of plays by Order.
Yeah, once again, the Silas now also being able to pick up these 2 kills. When Order group, everything just seems to go right for them. Mammoth have not sculpted the perfect team fighting composition by any means, but it is so hard to kite out and away when Silas can steal a Jarvan ultimate.
Oh, and it is the execution from Order, though, that really stepped things up, and so much good play set up by Jake, set up by Swiffer, set up by Spooks, and they knocked down that mid tower, and wouldn't you know it, Rusty, it's going to be Baron in a minute spawning on the Rift, and they've got a lot more map control all of a sudden.
Now, one thing to note is that this actually is a really large Kai'Sa. Maybe even in comparison to that last game. That's 2 items complete. That's the evolves available as well. And Ezreal has gone for the Trinity Force route. Hasn't actually stacked up his tier yet at 19 minutes, so should be awfully close, you would hope, for Dream. And once that is on, he will be a big boy. And remember that you can't double tier anymore on Ezreal on this patch. So you go towards a different build completely.
So hence the Trinity Force.
Yep, goes Trinity Force. There is the Muramana, almost right on cue.
Swiffer steals the Kai'Sa ultimate.
Could be a Gunblade if he wants to go AP. Gunblade into Deathcap, or it could be a Blade of the Ruined King. Maybe even a Mercurials. Back to the old Ezreal builds more so.
Yeah. No, there's definitely a couple of options. Ezreal, one of those champions that always has had a few of them, even when patch changes make one optimal build a little bit less so. Baron hits the Rift in about 8 seconds here, and it's all about getting the wards up, getting the vision game going. Order obviously not going to try and rush it anytime soon, but they do have some map control, which is something that they had been lacking for the last minute or two.
You know, the difference between Mammoth in Game 1 and 2, however, is how they're going to be executing on these fights. It's not a cannon that's going to be teleporting in. And if there was one thing you would want to change in their last game draft to this one, he may have been one of those picks as Dream flashes.
Yeah, a little bit of respect there. He saw the bubble coming and he didn't want any trouble himself. So now he's going to be a little less mobile as an AD carry.
Well, it almost hit him and forced him into near melee range. It's
Hello? Tapoon getting kicked out of his own Realm Warp and pulled back in. How about that for a yo-yo play?
Easy as you'd like there from Order. They find an opportunity for Spooks to come down to the bottom lane. Now 004 is his scoreline as lots of damage is just going to be constantly applied. Order will be the team that feels the need more so than Mammoth to make those plays. You know, they are the ones pressured. The onus is on them to generate picks or to start fights. They can definitely do it. They're very capable of doing it with the comp they have. But Mammoth will poke you down. Triple puts a bubble on you. That will probably one-hit you with a Kai'Sa W following behind it. So they want to siege. They want to post up in an area and just deliver bubbles constantly.
And they can do it even faster now as Mammoth do take the opportunity on the reset to pick themselves up the second Cloud Dragon. So they're going to be really speedy boys moving around this Rift. But will they be fast enough to stop the Order plays? Because Order just seem to play great grouped up.
Certainly have been a very big team when grouped up so far. We have our answer for the Ezreal build, by the way. The Mercurial Scimitar is going to be the item of choice. Perhaps it is going from QSS to Blade of the Ruined King, though. Will still be determined.
Yeah, we'll find out. I mean, I think you could make the argument either way. The QSS certainly seemed to be necessary from the sheer amount of CC on the Mammoth side.
And this is the point, though, where it doesn't feel great for Mammoth. If they have to put Zoe on a side lane against a Sylas and an Urgot, it isn't ideal for the 1v1. But in this game, the difference between this and the last one is that Swiffle was forced into cleanse, not teleport. So he isn't going to be able to just stay in a side lane forever, and if he does, he won't be able to group. There's a world where Mammoth see that, and they just send the Kai'Sa up there to kill him.
It might happen. Jake sending Winter's Bite to the face of Babbitt. Gets healed up, though. That's the Enchanter supports coming in handy. A lot of Mammoth members around the Baron side, though. 22 minutes on the clock. It's very viable for either team to try and bait it out, but still take a lot of damage early on. And really, I think Mammoth are just going to want to try to set up more picks for Triple if they can. I mean, he's been such a beast on the Zoe throughout the split, and it's been because of the fact that he can get close to one-shotting people. Spooks is in a bit of trouble right now as he does get locked up into the pit, and that was a
He's dead.
Very expensive Scuttle Crab, my friend.
He doesn't have a ward to hop to either, so just stands still, presses W on himself for the shield, and he is super dead in an attempt to get the Scuttle. But he got it as Bubble's on.
Yeah, now they're going to turn on to Jake, and they combo on top of him. Triple will be pretty happy with the fact that he secures that kill, and now Mammoth can open up the map. But King is on top of Dream, and that is a lovely shutdown. Extra gold into the pocket of the Mammoth AD carry.
And it's as simple as that for Mammoth. They get one pick, they threaten with the bubbles, bring Triple into mid lane, and note that this team has double the bubbles that they can throw down as well. So they follow it with the rest. All the damage is there, 2 kills now, and they look towards the Baron. Spooks has just respawned. I don't think he'll get here in time.
No, and they don't even need to use Tapoon on this right now, so he just sits in the mid lane. Mammoth doing a great job of turning aggro back and around a little bit. Babbitt tanking up as Tapoon comes through. Spooks is taking the slow path, and no chance to contest here. Mammoth take Baron #1 in game 2.
And with this Baron, we definitely have a series on our hands here. Order being 1-0 up in this best of 5. Mammoth poised to take it home in the second now with this Baron. King's played back. He's rebounded super well, even considering all the pressure that was placed upon him in this game alone.
He's kept even incredibly well this game.
Destiny hasn't died, even as the Nami. Very fragile champion
That's
down in
even
that
more
lane.
impressive, actually, when you think about it. He's been really keeping pace with what Jake has been doing, except Jake did get himself killed there under mid tower, which enabled Mammoth to really set up that long march.
And one thing here is that if we take stock of the items, 4 stopwatches for Mammoth. So if ever there was a time where they are planning to snowball, they've just invested all of their money into immediate team fight relevance. They will be hunting.
Keeping an eye on Mammoth. King at the front line here. With his Rune's Hurricane now completed, that's a 3rd item, Kai'Sa. They're feeling themselves spiking pretty hard at the moment. Let's see what Mammoth can get done. They're going to keep Tapoon on the side lane. His teleport is available for a fight, and they've caught out Jake on a Sleepy Trouble bubble, but they won't check into the choke.
Braum is one of those champions that isn't actually too bad into Zoe. Being able to put up your door, negating a lot of the damage helps. But with how quickly that a Zoe can start to throw out those bubbles, it does make life really difficult. The second bubble that they throw that hits someone.
Swiffer does steal a Cataclysm there, but look at Tapoon. He's completely uncontested on this top side and able to just fire away with the Baron buff minions to take another tower. That's going to be the 5th that Mammoth have picked up this game. And on the other side, Tally gets some chip damage, but not enough to knock down a turret.
A lot of the difference in this game does feel like Tally's contributions aren't going to be nearly as high now that he is on the Urgot. Tapoon on the rise has been all but invisible as well, and the fact that we've just had basically a glorified 4v4 for an extended time.
Ooh, and there's a lot of damage on the Braum, but I don't think they necessarily need to take the kill. Instead, they can just focus on knocking down the tower because Order can't defend.
Yeah, just be reserved, continue to poke. He has to run back to base as well. He can't recall, or they'd follow forwards and take him down. And Mammoth, this gold lead will accelerate right now with the Baron buff that they've secured and should only continue to grow as top lane turret falls, mid lane turret falls, third Cloud Dragon of the game is there.
Gotta go fast.
Step.
Well, Spooks goes in for the steal. He actually pulls it off here, and he maybe gets out. No, the flashing forward, meaning King secures him up for his 4th kill. You feel like that one was worth, Rusty?
I don't think it was. We'll see in the next couple of seconds because King is hunting, and they're looking to push forwards now.
Realm Warp coming in. Here we go. Swiffer, there's the dunk on the opposite side. He misses trying to steal away a Jarvan ult this time. Gets a little sleepy, but he wakes himself up with the cleanse. Mammoth in the mid lane, 5 members strong. The minions aren't there yet, though.
20 seconds on Spooks. They didn't have the wave. If Mammoth had the minion wave, that may have just been a free inhibitor. There's a chance they can test now, Order. They are here, but I'm not sure that they can.
Well, they can try to knock down another tower. It looks like they'll be able to get it at least down to half health before Order can respond. Spooks is still a couple of seconds away from coming back up, and that might be it. Swiffer fancies a fight, but it's Mammoth who are backing away.
Wants to force them off it as the bare minimum, try and push them back. Baron will be very close to running out, so good timing on the disengage here, Mammoth. But another turret falls, and that does mean that one team fight victory, Mammoth could legitimately just end through mid lane.
And they might justice what happened in the opposite last time around with Order, who were just winning fight after fight. But 27 minutes in game 2, it tells a very different story. A 3,000 gold lead from Mammoth. Not a massive snowball, but everything has gone in their favor.
And still not resetting on the map at the moment, protecting their blue buff. They have their priorities in check here, Mammoth. They want to collect everything and not let their opponents trade. And now they go back to base, 1,600 to spend. This only gets worse for Order at this point in this game, unless they can hit a team fight engage. But really, Lee Sin being in that mid to late game portion of it with no stopwatch, no survivability, no Guardian Angel after the kick as well, he's going to die very quickly. But really, I feel like he's a big part of the necessity of engage.
Yeah. And it really does seem like it comes down to the fact that Tally is on much less of a team fighting champion with the top laner got. He's just kind of resigned to side lane duty, and Tapoon can match him pretty evenly, if not better.
Top lane will start to outscale him very quickly as well. You know, there's not a whole lot that an Urgot can accomplish unless he has the Righteous Glory finished and Ryze uses the Disempower, just the regular W. Because then you just Righteous Glory afterwards, he doesn't have it, you run him down.
So it seems like the options for Order here to try to catch a couple members of Mammoth out. The opposite's been happening to them. That's what's really opened this game up.
Option number 2 is to kill Tapoon a lot, but the rest of their map needs to be able to play respectfully and safe. And this is something that they are starting to consider at the current moment. Mammoth haven't crashed yet into the enemy base, so they've got a window of opportunity here. A few seconds on the map where it's free. Tapoon very respectful at the moment, though. If you see Tally this far up and your team members are missing off the map, something's fishy, you know? So he's going to play respectfully. He's just going to clear the wave. Maybe play some vision before he steps up for the next one as well.
Good game instinct from the rookie top laner.
One of the basics in League in a competitive game as well that isn't really spoken about is forcing your opponents to show on minion waves. Because you'll always want to clear waves. They're worth gold. They're valuable. So you go for them. But if your opponents are not showing on a minion wave and you've pushed it towards them, then you should just know by instinct something is wrong. Or something is off, and like you need to try and either work out where they are as a team or respect that they could be near you if you're alone.
So Order's attempt on Tapoon stymied. And now with the Baron 10 seconds away, they're going to have to react to what will surely be another fast Baron take attempt. And Tally does start running at Tapoon here. He's fast, but he's straight into the wave of minions and has to flash flip at the end of the day. Dream coming through, and there's the Realm Warp. He walks away from it. And
Oh,
now
the
it's
kick
not
as
over
well.
just yet. They get the kick. The Sonic Wave followed through on Spooks. It's Order that are feeling the pressure
Oh,
to make the play
no.
here. They've caught out Babip, and he's trying to run out, but that's the smite dead.
He flagged, but there was no drag from the Jarvan. And he doesn't have the flash to keep him alive as he trades timers with Spooks. And suddenly Order, they force Rise back to base, and they get a pick onto the Jarvan. And they've got a wave bottom. Look at Mammoth. They're
Mammoth
trying
running
to
mid.
trade instead.
They're going to try to go mid lane. Instead, they do actually back off for just a second, and nobody from the Order side actually commit to diving onto the top side, so
They
Top
couldn't.
walks away. Oh, that was a tense reset there,
It's
Rusty.
just such a big gamble. If Order showed on that wave, Mammoth could be hitting our inhibitor. They could be hitting the Baron, and we do not know about either. So they respect, they recall, they get back onto the map, and I agree with this decision. You know, that buys them time where Babip isn't there, that they can get some control.
And Order are not a team that just make these crazy risky plays. Like, even in the regular split, best of ones where sometimes that can pay off, they really didn't seem to be known as a team that would take, you know, a 50-50 or even sometimes a suboptimal trade, whereas some teams in the OPL very much follow that mold.
What order were you watching?
Beginning of the split?
Oh,
Yeah.
oh okay.
When they were winning?
If we disregard the rest of the split, I
All
agree.
right, all right. They turned it on. Speaking of turning it, Swiffer tries to make the play, but King just pumps him full of void bullets.
Yeah, he's super dead. Swiffer has to engage. Triple has got a Spell Thief's flash to use as well, so expect to see some continued damage being put down. And they have cleared the mid wave to pressure it even more with Topoon. So watch Mammoth as they'll probably start this Baron, but the intent will be to get bot lane and mid lane inhibitors ideally if Order check. If Order don't come to the Baron, then it's just free.
Dream is backing away, but he actually canceled his back and then restarted it. So Mammoth might be able to get everything here as the True Shot comes in to check, but it's a little bit too late. That's smited down. Second Baron going to Mammoth, and they still lose inhibitor turret damage down bot.
Just giving them no good options. Mammoth right now playing very strong around the map, being very respectful when they need to and being very aggressive when they can. They force Order back to base. Now they get the Baron. Now they'll get the Mountain Dragon with it as well, most likely. Remember that the third dragon of the game was simply stolen by Spooks, and that's the closest they've gotten to that objective control.
So Mammoth just have everything in this game. It's a slow build-up, but they've not really given any opportunities for Order to respond, and we are well on our way to that 1-1. As you called it earlier, we have a series on our hands, Rusty.
And as you would expect from a veteran squad like Mammoth as well to be able to bounce back. This is that point in the series, if Mammoth are able to equalize it and we come into the third game, where the rookies step up as King.
Oh, King does get caught. He flashes. However, there's that stopwatch pop. They want to get those immediate results, and he's turning it on, but finally shut down by Swiffer. Destiny bouncing, flashing away. Tally still sticking on top of Babip. However, this might be a time for Order to do something, but look at the rest of the Mammoth members. They're running it to mid. It's Topoon with the Baron buff.
And this may just be the inhibitor. Forced recalls here out of their opponents. Triple looking to delay them, slow them down if he can. Spooks was looking for a flank. He's looking for the kill onto Triple, but they are aware.
So even though Order win the fight, it's Mammoth that gets something for it.
No.
They grab the inhibitor, and now they might be caught out. And goodbye, Spooks. No, he tags his way to the rest of Order, but Triple starting to get into that one-shot territory as soon as he picks up the death cap.
Dangerous amounts of damage coming out of Triple, you're correct. Level 17 as well to the 14 of Spooks. Not having the best time on the Rift, but someone who is Dream, because he has been the catalyst to a lot of the success at the moment in this best of 5 series. Still playing very well. Swiffer.
Yeah, a little bit of a miss there, Topoon.
don't
That's
know.
a 2-level disadvantage, my friend. I don't know if you want to take that fight, and he just bites off a lot more than he could shoot. Tally coming in to relieve him, but he's taken down even though he tried to cleanse his way away, and now
King's
it's
got
Tally
ult.
who's going to get caught, and it just seems like they're high-fiving to death. A bit of a debate there as they don't follow through for Tally, but
Babip.
doesn't matter. Babip coming through the wave from Destiny to wave goodbye to Order's chances in this game. Tally's got nowhere to go.
King was about 2 seconds off his ult. Now Triple comes in. This will be inhibitor, definitely number 2 going down. Maybe the game.
And meanwhile, the Baron buff minions, the super minions already on top of those towers, and Jake's going to fall. Dream is the only one to try and push him back with 45 seconds on those death timers. I don't think the Ezreal can get a whole lot more done here, and that is going to be it. GG, well played, and Mammoth are going to equalize in a big way in Game 2.
34 minutes on the clock for Mammoth as well. They are able to equalize the series 1-1. And that's the bounce back that was just needed from them overall. If they didn't show any signs of improvement between games, this was going to be a very rough series from them. Order, lots of pressure in the early games. Still looking towards the bottom lane as their big focus from level 2 when they get the first gank off from Spooks on the Lee Sin with a Warthog. And at that moment, it looked really rough for Mammoth, but they held strong. One thing they are so good at doing, and they will continue to be good at doing as players, is playing when they are weak. Just weathering the storm, getting to their item spikes and winning from there. That's exactly what we saw from them in this game.
And if you're an emotional team, you need to be able to do that because you will find yourselves in those positions where you're down a little bit and you can't give in to the fact that, oh man, we're losing, can't get into that mindset. And King and Destiny played a great job really after all that pressure went down to the bottom side, and I loved what Mammoth were doing. They started feeding the kills into King. He was picking them up himself, but they were always leaving it for him, and he never left a stone unturned.
Yeah, absolutely. The other big thing is just the Zoe. Zoe is a pretty big talking point you would have to expect
Triple started
here.
to get pretty scary. He didn't rack up like those crazy KDA
But
scores.
he did more than enough.
But all he needed to do.
He doesn't need to kill people. If you can take off 80% of their health, they can't engage, and it is just that simple sometimes.
Yeah, I figured out what triple stands for. It's his damage multiplier. That was insane, man. At the end of it, he was
Sorry, triple cheeseburger.
Also a triple cheeseburger, but it was very nearly a triple kill. Man, I mean, he's just so good on Zoe.
Yeah, he is. It's been banned from him so much, you probably do want to take that away. But again, it's a best-of-5 series. It's 1-1 now, so adaptations can very easily be made, even by order this time in the third.
Yes, indeed. Well, we're going into Game 3 with match split 1 and 1 apiece. We're going on a quick Macca's break, and then we'll send it over to the couch.
We don't believe in labels at Macca's, like dinner or breakfast.